Hey guys, Tara here from Recovering Book Hoarder, and today is Saturday for me, Sunday for you guys, which means it is time for my weekly chat and catch up. So, exciting news. I have a new phone that I am filming on. So, one of my biggest frustrations with my channel is that I've been using an iPhone, which I love my iPhone, but it has not enough storage. So it is very cumbersome, the taping process. I have to go through, delete everything. Then I have to tape, edit, upload, delete everything before I can tape again. So my mom had bought my grandfather an Android, and he didn't like it. But they had gotten the phone for free. I guess they hadn't bought it. They had gotten the phone for free. So she had it and she asked if I wanted it. I was like, you have no idea the huge problem you'll be solving for me if I can have that phone. So today is my first time taping using this phone, and will be my first time editing on an Android and everything also. So we shall see how it goes. All right. This week, guys, this week has been terrible. um, I have felt the main feeling I felt this week was despair and hopelessness, and it was all in relation to all in regards to things happening at work. So not my personal life. My personal life's wonderful. Work life, on the other hand, this right here, this is pretty much the position I wanted to take all week long. So it was strenuous, to say the least. In the last 2 weeks, I have completed about 100 hours worth of trainings for something, and I'm just on brain fry, like total brain fry. I'm done with those now, though, and I don't want to take another training for a really long time. So the majority of my week was spent doing that. On the plus side, I got to work from home every day this week except for Monday, but there was still a lot of stuff I had to deal with work wise, and it was a week, and it was a full moon, and so I'm blaming that. And I'm really hoping that since this week is not a full moon, it's just going to be back to some semblance of normalcy. I hope, fingers crossed. With that said, I still had some things this week that I did that were nice. So last night we had a girls' night at my friend Ruth's house. It was me, her, my mom, my Aunt Sherry, and my cousin Brianna, and from Bonnie. And it was just a night with the girls. It was a lot of laughing. Like, these are the women that I get together with them, and my mouth hurts so bad from smiling and laughing. And they just do such good for my soul. So we played this new game called Spontaneous, which was fun. And it was kind of like a Name That Tune, but instead of having to think of a tune, everybody has like a list of keywords. And so when it's your turn, you say one of those keywords, and the other people within 15 seconds have to come up with a song with that word, and they have to sing that word in that song. It has to be within 5 words. Anyway, it was fun. If you are like a music lover, you like games, totally a good game. And you can have so many people. You can do teams, you could do singles. Even if you do, I want to say there's like 10, marker piece thingies. So that was a lot of fun, and just telling stories and good food. And it was just such a nice time. So it was a really great way to end such a horrible week. On Thursday, Cassidy had a well check appointment, and it was her first one since pre-virus, and it went very well. And the poor kid had to get 3 more vaccines. And one of them was a Herdy vaccine, one that hurt quite a bit. But she was a trooper, man. She really did great, and didn't seem to have any reactions to those vaccines. So she is all up to date on everything now. She did the dentist last week. She did the PCP this week. So she's looking good. Got our EpiPens refilled because she's got pretty horrific allergies. And yeah, so we did that. I have decided I needed to start taking some additional vitamins this week. So I got like a hair, nails, and something else vitamin that has like biotin in it. That is for other things because, so I was looking at pictures the other day and like showing Cassidy pictures of myself from when I was younger. She's like, you look just the same, except your hair is not shiny anymore. like, like I knew it wasn't great anymore. It just I feel like it looks dry all the time. So I realized I should probably and my nails have gotten real thin too. So I'm like, I should probably take a vitamin for that. So I started that yesterday, and then have restarted taking my vitamin D too because along with Hashimoto's and hypothyroid is it's very common to have a vitamin D deficiency, which I do have. It goes super duper low, and I just feel terrible when it happens. And believe it or not, being in the sun does not help the vitamin D deficiency. So I started taking that too because I've just been so tired. And yes, I do believe it's work, but I think it's more than that too, So started that this week. So hopefully, I don't know. It always takes a while to see results for taking vitamins and things like that. And I also think I really need to cut down on my pop caffeine drinking and reintroduce a lot more water. So started that yesterday. I think I did 4 bottles of water yesterday, which is good, equivalent to 8 glasses. But for my weight, you're supposed to drink like half of your weight in ounces of water. So I really should be drinking like 90, no, probably like 100 and I guess I should be drinking like 110 ounces of water each day. So 8 glasses of water does not equal 110 ounces, but it's a start. So I'm gonna focus on that for this week coming up, and hopefully start to feel better, because I think that's why my skin has gotten really not as nice as it has been, and feeling just like bogged down. I just think increasing the water, decreasing the diet pop, decreasing caffeine altogether will help my overall well-being. So that pretty much, I think that's been the week. I'm trying to think if there's been anything else. Oh, what day was that? Let me think. Saturday. Last Saturday we spent the night at my mom's. Cass and I spent the night at my mom's. So we watched First Night with Sean Connery, Richard Gere, and Julia Ormond. And it was out, I want to say, early 90s. That movie was out right around the same time as like Legends of the Fall, which is another one that I really want to rewatch. And it was just as good as I remembered. Guys, my personal opinion, I think it might be the movie that Richard Gere looks the most amazing in. I love Richard Gere, and he looks so good. And Julia Ormond was so beautiful. And Sean Connery's accent, and he's just such a sweetheart in that movie. And if you have not seen it, you should totally watch it. It is like a retelling, a King Arthur retelling. So good. But the visual effects and stuff from that period of time, man, it makes me really appreciate what we have now. And that movie is the DVD. It's a DVD. It's not even on Blu-ray. I'm sure they sell it on Blu-ray now, but that's not what my parents have. And let me tell you, that makes a huge difference whenever you're watching movies. So that was fun. We spent the night there and got to sleep in just the most comfortable bed. I felt like I was sleeping on a cloud. Being like wrapped up in its cloudiness. It was wonderful. So that was nice. Yeah, and then just worked on school with Cass. We thought she had bombed this test. This test was so hard, social studies. It was about like ancient Mesopotamia, and she has an IEP, and as part of that IEP, for her tests, I can read the questions to her because she has, some dyslexia and with the ADHD and stuff. It's just not a fun time. She like misses keywords. My eyes are watering, guys. She misses keywords to questions and will miss the question just because she misread it. So I read them to her. And then she tells me what the answer is. There were so many open-ended questions on this one, and it was just, I'm like, there's no way. I was like set. I thought she had failed it. It was terrible. And got the scores back, and she got 56 out of 60. I was shocked. So that was good. And she just did really well with school this week. There was very, very little complaining, and yeah. We love cyber school. We love PA Cyber. It's the best for her. So that is what has been going on in my life this week. So let's talk about some books. I did get several more books read since we talked last. So the first one that I finished up was The Dream Daughter by Diane Chamberlain. And this was my first Diane Chamberlain, and it will definitely not be my last. I really enjoyed this one a lot. I wound up giving it 5 stars. There is some time travel in here, and so I ended up classifying this on the fall readathon that Rainey and Tia and I'm sorry, I can't remember the third one. I'll link them down below that they're hosting. I ended up putting this under sci-fi because there is definitely a sci-fi element to this with the time travel. So it was so good, and I can say I started enjoying it more about halfway through, a little bit more than halfway through. Something happened that just I wasn't expecting, like a period of time. I don't know why I didn't connect. It was probably because I listened to it. I wasn't connecting the year of when all of this was taking place. And I'm not going to tell you guys what year it is either, because I don't know, maybe it'll go over your head the way it did mine. And it was more enjoyable that way. So there was a period of time that happens in here that I just didn't expect, and it had me wanting to devour this just to like figure out what was going to happen at that point. And I adored this ending. Like, seriously, an ending makes or breaks a book for me. And this ending could not have been more perfect. So this is so good. I'm definitely going to be having my mom read this one too, because I really think that she'll enjoy this as well. So that was excellent. All right, then I finished Anne of Avonlea by L.M. Montgomery, and this is the second book in the Anne of Green Gables series, and I gave this 4 stars. I didn't like it as much as I liked the first one, because Anne as a child is just so precocious, and you would just love her so much. This is Anne, somewhat more grown up, and I do enjoy seeing her as an adult and just her heart. Anne has such an amazing heart, and we have 2 new kids that come to live with her and Marilla, and Davy and Dora, and they were quite fun. They were a really fun bunch, and we meet several more characters in here. I think my favorite character was Lavender, and I just really enjoyed her story so much. So again, Anne of Green Gables is just such a wholesome but entertaining, and I feel like really stands the test of time, and takes place in Prince Edward Island, which I just long to visit because it just sounds so beautiful. It is on my bucket list to go to Prince Edward Island and do like the Anne of Green Gables Island tour and stuff. All right, then and this one was for on my games. So let me go back. So for my board game, the Dream Daughter was to fulfill the prompt of read like Krista from Over Books and Jams. And Anne of Avonlea was to fulfill the prompt of an author that lives in a place you would like to live. So Prince Edward Island. Then I needed a translated book for which book challenge was it? Oh, one of the yearly challenges I'm doing. Let's see which one it was. I needed a translated book for the Intentional Reader Read Your Bookshelf Challenge. Chantel, the yearly reading challenge she's doing. And so I found The Perfect Nanny by Laila Salamani. This is translated from French. And this has been on my shelf for at least 3 years, possibly longer. And it was pretty disappointing. I ended up giving it 2 stars. It just, I don't know. It like wasn't really all that rememberable. It wasn't that rememberable, guys. I mean, I just read it this week, but I'm already like, I have to remind myself on the back. It starts with the very opening scene. There's a child has been murdered, and the other child has been hurt really badly. And this was one, like, it kept my attention. I mean, it was quite short, but the ending I didn't like. And then there were like some hints. There were hints of possible sexual abuse in here. It was just it was kind of strange. It's kind of a strange book. So I really didn't love this one. It's going to be making its way out of my house. And then to fulfill the Buzzwordathon prompt for this month, I needed to find something with dark in the title. So I wound up listening to This Present Darkness by Frank Peretti, which is a Christian, spiritual warfare, apocalyptic, I guess, kind of book. And I hated it. It was 1 star. It was so hokey. It was so hokey. Like, listen, I've read these kinds of books done really, really well. To of note, the Left Behind series and by Tim LaHaye and Tim LaHaye and Jerry Jenkins, and then the Chronicle of the Brothers series by Wendy Alec. Those 2 are done beautifully, absolutely beautifully. And so to read this one, oh, it was so bad. And I listened to it because I didn't own a copy, so I was able to find it through Libby. And Frank Peretti reads it. And it was awful. Like, I'm sure that added to my severe dislike of it. There's this, like, it's so dramatized. Like, there's all this music in the background. And that really took out of it, because I like to listen to my books at a higher speed, because my brain just processes them that way. And I had to listen to it on a lower speed because of the music. Because if you sped up the speed of the talker, the music sped up, and it sounded like you were listening to a Chipmunks record or something. And it was so bad, guys. It was so bad. And I thought, well, maybe I hated it because I listened to it and because of those reasons. So I went on and I read some of the reviews on Goodreads, and I'm like, no, because they're saying pretty much what I was thinking in my head, the bad reviews. So I'm going to stick with the 1 star. Did not like it. If you want to read an end times kind of novel, don't read that one. And then I listened to The Therapist by B.A. Paris, and I liked that one quite a bit. I ended up giving that one 4 stars. It kept me guessing, and the ending was a total shock to me. It was a shock to me, which that's really good. And I liked a lot of the characters in it, and I listened to it in 1 day. So I liked it a lot. That one was a lot of fun. And I really don't want to tell you about it because I don't want to accidentally give anything away, but it's like a psychological thriller. And I really enjoy B.A. Paris's writing. So if you like B.A. Paris, I'm sure that you will like this one as well. And then I finished out the week listening to The Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. And this was the group read for the month for the fall reading challenge that I was talking about earlier. And unfortunately, I wound up giving this only 3 stars. And the reason, it was just, I don't know why it was tough for me. I really like fantasy. I just had a really hard time connecting with this one for some reason. And like, there was nothing wrong with the writing. The writing was fine. There was some dragons in it. There was a lot of elements that I typically like a lot, but I just felt no connection with the book at all. So even though I finished it and it, like I said, it was just fine for me. If I connected with it, I probably would have given it higher stars. So that was my reading week. So overall, like, I got a lot read. I just feel like this month, and probably because the previous month was such amazing quality, I'm just feeling like this month hasn't been as good quality wise, even though I'm still reading a lot. So that's that. This week I need to finish, because this is the end of the month here, so I need to finish Spellslinger by Sebastian de Castile, and looks like I'm right about halfway through. And this again should be a book that has like everything I love in it. There's magical trials, there's some fantastical creatures, but I'm just not, I don't know, I'm not loving it for some reason. I had anticipated it so much. Like, I would have put this as a possible 5-star prediction, but I'm not loving it. However, I did just get to a part where something happens that now I'm like, all right, I need to see what's going to happen. So I need to get this done. We'll see. Maybe it will redeem itself and I'll end up liking it better. Because I have had books that I was like tempted to DNF, and then halfway through they get really good and turn out to be a 5-star read. So we'll see what happens with that. So I need to finish that, and then I started listening to a psalm. What is it called? Becky Chambers. It's a Becky Chambers book. Oh, I keep forgetting. I have the phone here that I can actually use during my taping, which is pretty cool. I can actually look things up now. I started listening to A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers, and this is a monk and robot book. And I think that this is the first in a series. And Becky Chambers, so many of her books are pretty short. They're like novellas. So started listening to this one today, and so far it's good so far. I mean, I'm only 10% in, so we'll see. And then I would really like to finish up Cast maybe by the end of this month, because I hate having books ambiguously not finished, and I've got like 5 of them right now that I would really like to get completed. So maybe that's one I'll knock off before the end of the month. We'll see. So that's what my plans are for this week upcoming. Purchases. I didn't purchase anything. However, when I was at my girls' night last night, my friend Ruth is my pastor's wife. So I got to see my pastor last night, and he had 2 books for me, because he is a fellow reader just like I am. And so sometimes I give him books, sometimes he gives me books. And you should see his library, man. He's got a really nice library in their house, and then one at his office too, in the church. So many books. So he's like, hey, I have these 2 extra books. Do you want them? Absolutely, I want them. So I got Jesus by Max Lucado, The God Who Knows Your Name. For more than 3 decades, pastor and bestselling author Max Lucado has shown us Jesus. In this capstone book, he takes us further on the journey to know the life and character of the Savior. So that sounds good. And then Everything You Need by David Jeremiah, 8 Essential Steps to a Life of Confidence in the Promises of God. So these will be added to my bookshelves, and we'll see when I get to them. But so I think those are the only 2 books that I got this week. So I'm doing really good at not buying books. I really need to make space on my shelves for some other things. So things I am thinking about doing coming up. So I've been watching a lot of coloring book flip throughs, because I really like coloring, and it's been so long since I have colored, because I was having like major issues with my hands, and it hurt. So I used to color every night before I went to bed, and I stopped because of the pain, but I don't have that issue anymore. So I would really like to start coloring again, and I've been watching these videos and they're making me nostalgic for coloring. And so I am contemplating, I'm looking up because all my coloring books are at the top, at the very top of my my bookshelves is an entire row of coloring books and like the magazine holders. So I'm contemplating maybe doing a coloring book flip throughs with the pages I've completed in the coloring books that I have. We'll see. I'm inspired to do so. And then maybe start doing some coloring videos as well. We'll see. That's what I would like to do. So that is it. Guys, I hope that your week was so much better than my week was. I hope that you guys have a great week coming up. We will catch up next week on my weekly chat. I do have coming out this week my October TBR, in addition to a FlossTube video where I update you on all the things that I have done, including a completed project and a new start. So that will be out Wednesday. I think my October TBR will probably be out Friday. So that is it. If you guys liked this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you would like to see more from me, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you want to connect with me, other places, anywhere you can find me on the interwebs is down below in that description box. And I will see you guys later on this week. Bye.